Hi, I'm Bruce Busby, President of RootsMagic, and in this short video we're going to show you our brand new associations feature. Now an association is basically the ability to show the relationship between two people that are not necessarily related. They're not necessarily members of the same family. Now some people call this the FAN method, F-A-N, friends, associations, and neighbors. Some people call it cluster research. There's a number of different names, but the bottom line is it's the ability to trace other people that are not immediate parts of your family in order to see if that can help you find the other family members kind of indirectly. So there's a number of different ways to get started with this to add an association. So I'll just show you one here. I'm going to select a person on the person screen and I'm going to click on the add button. Now, in addition to adding spouse, parents, child, you can add an association. When you do that, it brings up the association screen, which is going to allow you to select the type of association, the two people that are related or associated, and dates, places, things like that. So let's go ahead and pick an association. So I'm going to click on associates, and we have a bunch of these that are built in. So besides friends, associates, and neighbors, you also have things like apprenticeship, DNA matches, education, in other words, a teacher-student relationship, a boss, employee relationship. You can actually track things like enslavement, the enslaver and the enslaved person, godparents. We use the term grave neighbors. That's people that are buried next to each other. That's just the name we came up with for that. Medical, a doctor-patient relationship, and so on. And you can also go in and create your own association type. So you're not limited to these that are built in. You can go in here and say, I want to create a new association type, give it the type of association, the two roles. So like in education, your roles are teacher and student. And then you can enter sentence templates for those two relationships, for those two roles. But let's say I want to go ahead and say that this Vinaya and somebody else is a coworker. So I'm going to go ahead and select coworker as the association type. Now the person I was highlighting on the screen is already selected as one of the people. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select the other person. I'm just going to pick somebody at random right here. Select that. I can go ahead and enter a date, place details, a description of the association. I can enter a note for this association. Now, I also have the ability to switch the two roles. In the coworker example, I don't really need to, but perhaps I was using the enslavement where I had the enslaver and the enslaved person. Well, if I happen to get them backwards, I can just click switch the roles and it'll switch places for them. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click OK to add that. And now if I go in and look at the person's edit screen, you'll see I now have that coworker association right here. Now I have other associations for this person. I have neighbor, and I have employer, and I have friend. And when I highlight one of these, I can edit it exactly the same way I do an event. So it's actually kind of a combination of a relationship and an event. So when I go into here, it has the information. If I pick this one that I just added, there's my coworkers, the two people. Again, I have all the same thing. I can switch the roles here as well. But one nice thing is when I'm in the edit person screen, I can also add sources, media, or tasks to this association as well. I can also come in here and delete the association. If I don't need this association anymore, I can just highlight it, click delete. Do I want to delete it? And say boop, and it's gone. So I can add and delete and edit associations very simply. Okay, I can also add an association directly here from the edit person screen, and I would do that the same way I add any other fact. If I go in to add a fact, it'll brings up your normal fact types that you're used to, but one of those is now association. So you can select association, click OK, and it will open up that add association screen where I can add the association right here from the edit screen. So I can add it from here or from the main screen, either way. Now I also have something new here, and that's a new view on the people view. It's an association view. So if I select that, this is going to bring up a list of all the associations that I've created. And I didn't mean to double click that. This is going to bring up all the associations that I've added here. And from here, I can select one and I can click edit relationship, so I can edit that relationship right from here. But I can also directly edit the two people. So if I want to edit person 1, role 1, I just click that and I can edit that person, or I can edit the second person here as well. Now I can also sort this list based on any of these columns just by clicking on the column header. So if I want to sort by the relationship name, just click that. If I want to sort by role 1, by the person, or the second person, just click the header and I can do that. I can also come up here and filter this list. So if I were to come up here and type HUB, okay, it's going to give me Betsy Hubble here. And it doesn't matter whether it's person 1 or person 2. By typing this in, it's going to find the people on either side of the relationship. So you don't have a problem with that. Okay. Finally, there are a number of different reports that these show in, because obviously it's nice to be able to track these associations, but it's important to be able to show these associations in reports. Now, some of the main reports, such as narrative reports and family group sheets, will now have an option whether or not you want to include the association. So if I go into publish and I go into do a narrative report, you'll see now there's an option right here, include associations. If I uncheck that, then your narrative report will look just like it did before. But if I include that, any associations for each person will show up there as well. Okay, but what's really nice now is we have two association reports. We have what we call the association report and the association list. And they're a little bit different, and the little description here describes what they are. But the association list is going to be an indented list of all the associations for a person. So I go in and I select the starting person, and I can choose what format I want it to be. And it's going to be a kind of similar to your descendant list. And when I select that, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so you can kind of get a little bit better view here. You're going to see what it has is it has my person, and then it has all of the associations that person has. Those are level 2 associations, but then it continues farther. And this is something you can choose how many levels right here, how many levels you want to go. But it's going to show you not only this person's relations or associations, but it's going to show each one of their associations and their associations and their associations so far, as many generations, if you want to call it, as you want. So by looking at this, I can see that we have Vinaya, and Mary was an employee of Vinaya, and Lucretia Brown was a neighbor of Mary, and Sylvia was a teacher of Lucretia, and Asa was buried near Sylvia, and so on. So you can see how that works. Now the other report is where you will select 2 people, and you can pick any 2 people in your file, and what the program is going to do is it's going to generate a list here of any relationships between the first person and the second person. And so basically in this case it's showing me that Vinaya employed Mary. Well, let me zoom in here for you again. Vinaya employed Mary. Mary was a neighbor of Lucretia. Lucretia was a student of Sylvia. Sylvia was buried near Asa. And then we have Asa. So it doesn't matter how many levels apart two people are. This is not limited to just showing you those 2 or 3 associations you may have entered for a person. It will show you the path between those 2 people. Now, let me go back to that first one because it does have a couple of other options. When we generated this, in this case, it looks basically like your basic descendant list, but you can choose several other formats. So you can have the information placed in columns. Okay, so you have the same type of thing, but the role is and dates and place are in columns. But you can also do it in a narrative type of format. And if you do that, you can choose whether to include all your notes, and this can include your sources and basically all of those same types of things. So anyways, that is an overview of our associations. Like I say, you can create your own association types. There's no limited to the numbers of types of associations. So feel free to use it in your own special needs. And I hope you find this useful. And we will talk to you again soon.